It is always easier to soften a boot than it is to stiffen a boot. And knowing your demands that you put on a ski and on a ski boot and the type of energy transmission that you like, my instinct is that you will probably like the stiffer boot better, and we can pull a pin out of it, and we can cut the shell a little bit if we need to, and go from there. So first thing we're gonna do is let's soften the boot a little bit first.
Okay.
So all I'm gonna do, Deb, is pull some pins out.
Okay.
I don't even know if you're gonna need me to cut it.
Okay.
I don't, just by the way you're bending it.
Yeah, I may get out there and ski on it first.
Yep, I think let's pull a pin, ski it.
It's like cutting hair. You don't want to go too short, too fast.
Those are about 4
So
foot
ski
right there.
boots are bolted twice or 3 times. We're gonna pull one. This boot's bolted twice. We're gonna pull one bolt.
Where are the bolts?
Right here on the spine.
Yep.
So right here on the back of the boot.
So do you pull the bottom or top one?
Good question. We're gonna pull the top one.
Okay.
We'll pull the top one because of how this boot is bolted, theoretically that should be the one that makes the biggest impact.
Okay.
So we're gonna pull the top one here. Please don't pull both. If you pull both boots, your boot is no longer bolted together.
If you pull both bolts. Okay, yeah. You gotta have one of them.
Yeah, you have to have one bolt. Please don't pull both bolts. You can pull one, and then we can cut the shell if need be.
Yeah.
And luckily Deb knows how to do this, so I can get my fingers out of the way. Like the pro that she is. Perfect job.
Well, I feel my heel is just in that pocket, and that feels really good. And when I articulate my ankle, bang, I feel I have immediate, contact.
Yep.
That feels really good.
And honestly, I'm surprised it feels this good without being molded.
Yeah.
That's also unique.
I mean,
once we mold it, if it feels good now, it's gonna feel great when it's molded.
I mean, the pronation, the supination, they both, I mean, bang.
Really up
It
against that
feels
shell, huh?
very responsive.
Yeah. You seem very surprised.
I didn't want to feel locked.
Okay.
I didn't want to feel stuck.
Why is that?
Because I like to articulate, I mean, everything begins down in the boot, down in the ankles, right where we meet the snow. And all my alignment just starts down there. And I've got to get it right. The flexing of my ankle, the tipping, the tipping, the complementary but opposite movements of those ankles, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like right off the bat I can get it. The concern is tipping to the inside this way. Is that the supination or the pronation?
So when you go to the outside, it would be supination.
Supination. So the supination, right? When I'm tipping, this is going to be my inside leg.
Yep.
I want to be able to maintain my ankle flexion.
Yep.
Because I don't want to lose it.
No, because you're going to need to initiate that ankle and pull it under you
Hey,
first.
that's right.
Understood.
But, yeah, I mean, I like how my ankle and my heel feels right down in there.
Very nice.
You want the boot really snug.
Yes, you do.
But you don't want to be locked like a cast.
No,
You can have snug and mobility.
Correct.
They can go together, and it's important for people to understand that.
Absolutely. You don't want error in the coupling. You do not want error in the coupling. There's
Right.
not so much movement that you have a delay. However, teeny tiny bits of movement so that the foot can revert and the foot can absorb shock is important.
Right.
Okay, so we just got the liners in there, all fitted.
And they look good. I mean, you're bending them better.
Yeah,
but
but no pressure points. It feels stiff though. It still feels stiff. And
Yep.
I don't want to limit my range of ankle flexion. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to maintain the necessary alignment, which starts down in the ankle, down on the snow, with this. I can feel right here in the shop, it's going to be a little stiff.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
We have softened your boot, so
Okay.
you're nice and soft on the saddles on either side. The one thing I've been thinking about that I thought we should talk about is your Gripwalk sole. So for some people, especially people whose boots I'm softening, and people who want to be very flat in their boot like you do, and are used to an alpine sole for your whole life, this is gonna give you some delta angle.
Oh.
So delta angle is like a gas pedal, so it means that the toe is gonna be slightly lifted. So if this is the back of the ski boot and this is the bottom of the ski boot, so here's forward lean, okay? Here's ramp angle, here's delta angle.
Yeah.
And so what it's gonna do, and obviously I'm being very drastic in my measurements here, these are not exact, but it's gonna make you feel like the angle is closed more. Totally. And we've already talked about that. We liked Deb to be more upright.
That's right.
So that Deb can drive her ski boot, right? And so if we're here, we may feel like the boot needs to be softer, when in actuality, we need to bring down the delta angle so that Deb has her normal range of motion. Gripwalk and Fisher and Solomon and every other boot company out there, Lang, Technica, everybody. I know I'm omitting many, but everybody will tell you that that isn't true. But if you measure it, it is true. If you measure it with a digital caliper, it is a slight difference that someone as accomplished as Deb may feel. And so the result of that may be that she feels like the boot is still not soft enough. But what I'm gonna say is, I wouldn't like to soften the boot anymore because I've actually gone quite a bit.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to call Fisher and order a set of alpine soles.
Oh.
Because we can just take the Gripwalk off.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's a bit of a shame because you don't get the benefits of Gripwalk.
Yeah.
And there are many.
Yeah.
You know, they don't wear down as quickly. They're nice and grippy.
Yeah.
They also have, you know, a tip to them, which is supposed to be able to make walking on ski boots a little easier, which is nice. Although if you're Deb Armstrong, I'm pretty sure you can walk in ski boots.
Yeah, I know how to do that. And I'm going to notice that degree of difference.
I think you will, and I encourage you to ski it first.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know it's been on my mind.
Yeah.
And it may come across to you as it's not soft enough. Zipfits are really neat. This is actually, so in this Fisher boot, it is a stock liner, which is kind of a funny thing to say because zipfit has only been available before, to my knowledge, aftermarket. There's a couple things that make it unique. One of the things would be is that the innards of this liner are cork. So around the heel and ankle, you know, and around these high retention areas or high need for retention areas, it's filled with cork. One of the pluses of this liner is in that area, it can be, actually I'm gonna have to see if it can on this liner. On the aftermarket liners, it can be re-injected, which is kind of neat. The other thing that's also neat is that there is no foam from here forward in the liner. It's just neoprene and fuzz. So there's this really nice woolly kind of feeling in there. So if you have a boot that is a very tight fitting boot in the forefoot, you need toe height like Deb likes in her boot, this is a really nice option because it's not restrictive.
It's interesting when you talk about cork because I think about my liners that came in the plug and they were very malleable. Loosey-goosey. I had a lot of room for ankle articulation and movement. My boot was very, very tight. My boot was very snug.
Yes.
But within that snug boot, I like to work my ankle.
Understood.
And that old liner let me do that. So this is going to be interesting for me. I'll be curious.